Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. It's Michelle, and today I'm going to show you how I incorporate real life events into my journaling. But first I'll show you what I use. I use the new floral paper pad from Marlene, and I also went back to the extra large paper elements book to grab out these little birds, this family of birds. So we have a family of little birds nesting in our pecan tree. I know in America you say pecan, but we say pecan nut. So anyway, in our pecan tree, there's a hollow in the stump, and this family of they're called southern flycatchers moved in there, and they've got a little baby that they're raising, and it's so cute. And we actually have a really nice view of the little hole in the tree. So we've been watching these birds, and I thought I would make a little page about them because it's just been so fascinating to watch the mom and dad bringing food to the baby every day. So I grabbed out this one page from Marlene's paper pad, and I'm just trimming out the leafy fronds that she's got on there. And I also, when I pulled the birds out of the paper elements book, I also trimmed off the edges because sometimes even though they die cut, it's not completely up to the edge of the bird. So I just quickly trimmed that off. And I used the leafy bits from Arlene's paper pad as inspiration for my colors in the background. So first I went in with fuchsia and just did 3 spots. I'm going in with mermaid, again with 3 spots. And I'll also do some Kermit, which is a pastel green kind of color. And I'm watering it down quite a bit. And I'm using my brush from Studio Light. It's the big 33mm hard bristle brush. It's got quite soft, short, hard bristles. It's really nice to use, and I find it blends the colors beautifully. I'm trying to leave that middle part white because I wanted to put my quote there. So I'm just trying to stay away from that white spot, even though you know how hard it is for me to leave any white on my pages. So once I've got the background colors down, I quickly gave it a dry, and now I'm going over the top of those colors with the same color but in a different tone. Is that how you say it? So I went in with mermaid, which is a lighter turquoise color, and then I went over the top with azure, which is a darker teal color. And I just did some reductive stenciling there by rubbing the paint down with my finger. Then I pop the stencil over the top of that wet paint, and I rub away the excess paint with a wet baby wipe. So I did the mark making first because I knew that the leafy fronds are going to be stuck over the top, and it would obviously be a little bit difficult to get mark making done once that's down. Then I decided to add some leafy bits in that background area. I'm sorry if you can hear the lawnmower. We've have our gardener here today, and he's decided to mow the lawn today. Anyway, I'm adding some leafy bits to my page, and this will just be in the background just to give the illusion there that there are leaves behind the birds, so like they are in the tree. By the way, I did take a picture of the tree, and I've put it right at the end of this video. So if you stick around to the end, you can see the hollow there that's in the tree with where the birds are. Obviously, the birds are not in the photo, but there's a baby in there. Okay, now that I'm done with my stenciling, I'm going to glue my leafy bits down. I decided to not faff around too much. So, I the moment you start faffing, well, that's my experience at least, and moving things around and shuffling things around, it can take a while to get to a place that you're happy with it. So I just glue them down as I go instead of auditioning and going this way and that way and moving them about and shuffling. I just glue them in and then I make it work. So I'm gluing them in this kind of nest kind of shape, and I wanted the daddy bird to be tucked in underneath the leaves, so I'm just putting him kind of over and under the leaves. And now the mommy bird and the tiny little baby at the top there. I thought it was quite cute. Anyway, to blend in the background a little bit more, I'm just going in with some mark making. And oh my gosh, this lawnmower is so loud. I'm sorry if you can hear that. So I'm just doing some mark making again with Kermit and with Mermaid, just to bring that background color a little bit into that white space. And then I'm going to add some shadowing. So I'm watering down some azure paint and I'm just going in between the leaves, and you can already see how much more those leaves are popping out from the background. So I did that with azure over the bluish areas, and I did it with royal, which is a deeper purple, onto all of the purple fuchsia areas that I've got in the background there. And already it made those leaves pop out quite a bit more, which I was quite happy about. So this page was a lot of faffing. You know how much I can faff. And I found that this one was quite a bit of faffing because I think I was trying to push the leaves out of the background a bit more. And because there are so many leaves, it obviously takes a little bit of time to go around them. I decided to outline them this time around with white, which is not something that I often do. You know, I normally do it with black, but I've done a couple of pages recently where I've outlined with white, and I really, really like the effect, especially when the background is quite dark underneath the focal images. I think it just works better. And as I go around, you'll see just how much those leaves are now popping out from the background. They're not quite sinking in so much, and you can actually see their shapes. And it's not just a pattern in the background, whereas before I felt like they were more looking like a pattern in the background instead of coming off the background. The birds I'm outlining in black because they already have a black outline, and I wanted to make sure that they stick out from the background. And normally I just do little parts of my focal images with the outlining, but this time I did it all the way around because I really want to, when I open my book, I want to see the birds. I must be able to know. I don't want to be searching for what's going on. By the way, I used the big A4 journal for this project because I needed a bit of space to play. And now I'm going in with my Stabilo All pencil and again just adding some shadowing. This time I'm sticking kind of to the bottom of the leaves, and I do the shadowing and then I go in and I do them again because my paintbrush was just a little bit too wet for that first round of shadowing, so I couldn't really get the full effect. So like I said, there's some faffing going on in this video, but oftentimes this is where I can get kind of lost in the process. I kind of forget that I'm recording it, and then I just keep going and going. But I think it's also good for you guys to see the full process of what pages go through. It doesn't just happen. And even though this is sped up, this video, it took about an hour for me to get done. So it's not a quick process. If you ever feel like your pages are taking too long, I can assure you that these YouTube videos that you watch, they are all sped up and they take everybody a long time to do it. So while I'm faffing, I would love to know from you guys, do you journal about real life events, or do you use your journals just as a place to get creative? I do a combo of both. So a lot of times, actually most times, my journaling is just me having fun, playing with my beautiful art supplies and using them and creating something nice. But sometimes when there are big life events like kids' birthdays or anniversaries, or even watching these birds raise their baby, they make it into my journal. And it might not be obvious. You'll see even in the quotes, it's obvious but not. So if I didn't tell you the story of the birds in the pecan tree, you wouldn't have known what this page was about. But sometimes it is really obvious too. So I'd like to know, how do you use your journals? Do you have a separate journal for just writing? I'd love to know how you process your thoughts. So to add a little bit more detail, I'm going into the Lots of Coral stamp set, and I'm just using a couple of bits there to add extra detail. I did think I ruined it when I put the first 2 stamps down, but then I just kept going, and in the end it pulled together. Okay, my quote, I'm just doing light pencil lines in that spot, and my quote's going to say, in the hollow of a pecan tree lives a happy family. And like I said, it's quite abstract, but now that you know the story, you know why I wrote it there. So that's it. So I drew my lines, and then for my words, I'm extending the letters to touch both lines. So at the top and the bottom, they are touching. So I'm not leaving a space between the lines of the words. Just going in and just widening the left side of each of my letters, and that just makes them look a little bit more like typography. Is that what you call it? Well, just a little bit more like fancy writing. I don't particularly love my handwriting, but by doing just that little simple thing like widening one edge, it makes your handwriting actually look a little bit fancier. Just ending off with some stamping in those bland edges that I've got there, because I can't leave anything just to be. It was just too pale for me, not busy enough. And some mark making to bring that white into the background as well. That is it from me. I hope you enjoyed this. If you are new and haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe. I upload 2 videos a week, and I will see you again soon. Okay, bye.